Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whenever it is that you're listening to this. So, we've been talking the past few weeks about grief and loss and just dealing with that whole situation. So, today I thought I would share with you the secret to pulling yourself out of depression or anger or any emotional state that you find yourself in. I wanted to share with you the secret on how to pull yourself out of that. Are you ready? You want to know what the secret is? The secret is decide. It really is that simple. The secret is decision. That's the thing about humans. It's our superpower. We can decide to change our state at any given moment. Decision is power. There truly is power in decision. And I'm not talking about a decision that says, I'd like to do that, or the decision that leaves room for something else. That's not a real decision. I'm talking about decision where there is no other option. There's a saying that says, if you want to take the island, burn the boats. Like, take away your ability to exit and put yourself in a situation where you have no other option. And sometimes that's what we have to do with ourselves. We have to decide. And when we decide, it's the decision that says, this is it. There's no other option. This is the decision. So first, I'm going to give you a simple example. I had been doing 10,000 steps a day, and I was doing really good. I was very consistent with it. 10,000 steps a day. Well, I'd been doing it for a while, so I decided that it was time to up my steps. So I decided to go to 15,000 steps. So on the first day that I decided to go to 15,000 steps, I was at the park and I was walking. And I'd already had probably like maybe 8,000 by the time I got to the park to finish out my walking. And so I hit that original goal. And then I found myself just feeling tired as I went beyond that, probably around 12,000, 13,000 steps. I found myself getting tired, my legs were hurting, and we all have this little chatterbox. And my chatterbox started, and it started talking to me, telling me, all of the reasons that I didn't have to do it right then, right? Like, it's still early in the day. You can get them naturally at home, probably just walking around your house, and it wouldn't be that difficult to get them. And I just kept walking, and it's like, oh, my legs hurt. I'm feeling really tired. It is the end of the day. Like, I should just go home and do this later. And it just kept talking to me. And finally, in that moment, I just basically told my little chatterbox, speaking to myself, I told myself to shut up. I was like, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're getting 15,000 steps in before we leave. Doesn't matter how your legs feel. Doesn't matter how your feet feel. Doesn't matter how tired you are. It doesn't matter. We are not leaving until we have 15,000 steps. You want to know the amazing thing that happened? The chatterbox stopped because I took all of the excuses away. It was the power of decision. I have often said, and I don't know, how many will agree with me or how many will disagree, but I have always believed that Jesus' most difficult moment and the fact that he was about to be our sacrifice, he was going to die for us, for our sins. I believe that his most difficult moment was in the garden. I believe that the garden experience was even worse than the actual crucifixion experience. That's why he was sweating drops of blood. It was a difficult situation. In that moment, he was deciding. He was making the decision that he was going to do this because the Bible says that at any moment, he could have called angels down to rescue him. He could have been rescued. He could have changed his mind. And that's why I believe that the garden experience was the most difficult. Because the garden experience, in the garden, that is when he said, this is what I'm doing. And we know that he didn't, we know that his flesh didn't necessarily want to go through what was about to happen. That's why he said, if it be your will, let this cup pass. If there's another way, I would rather do it that way. His flesh was crying out. But he stuck with it. And in that moment, he made a decision, a real decision. That said, it doesn't matter what it feels like. It doesn't matter what I go through. This is what I'm doing. And there's going to be no looking back. I'm not giving myself the option to back out. I'm not giving myself the option to change my mind. I'm going through this. I'm doing this. And after that, the rest was just following through. But the difficult thing, I believe, the most difficult part of it, and that's not to downplay what he went through. I'm just saying he had to decide that there was no other option. And when you are feeling depressed or angry or whatever, you simply have to decide, I'm changing. And I know it sounds rather simplistic, especially if you're someone who's dealt with and lived with depression. I've experienced it and I've used it on myself the past little while when feeling depressed. And I know that there's the chemically imbalanced and there's all of these different reasons that we can feel depressed. But I challenge you, if you're feeling depressed, I challenge you to look at yourself in the mirror and smile. Your biggest fake smile that you've ever smiled. And look at yourself in the mirror smiling, and I dare you to still be depressed. I don't think you can. Start making funny faces at yourself. Try to make yourself laugh. It will change your state. Now here's the thing. You have to make that decision before you start feeling depressed. It's what I've been, so I can eat. I am a big portion girl. I like to eat a lot of food. And I always struggle with that, right? So like you get your food and it tastes really good, right? And so of course natural is like, oh, well, I'll have seconds. You're not still hungry. You're definitely not still hungry, but it tastes really good. You're really enjoying it. So you get a second helping. I struggle with that. And I always found, like, I would tell myself, like, yeah, don't eat so much, eat less, or whatever. And so in that moment, though, the taste buds, the food, the emotions, they always win. So I have learned that before I sit down to eat, I have to make a decision before I'm presented with a temptation. There will be no second helpings. Nope, that's the decision. And I make that decision before I sit down to eat. There is no other option. The decision that says, you have no option here. You will not have seconds. And it's amazing how there's no more battle. It literally used to be an internal battle. Every time I'd sit down to eat, this battle, like, oh, well, I want more, but oh, you shouldn't have more, but it tastes really good, I want more, but no, you know that you shouldn't have more. You're not hungry. And this back and forth and this battle that takes place literally over a plate of food. And if you like food, like me, you understand what I'm saying. You get this battle. So I just had to decide before I'm faced with food, before the food is in front of me. The decision is, I do not have seconds. And it works. The battle's over. There is no more battle. Because I know what the decision is before I've entered in that arena. I know what the outcome is going to be. We have to decide. If you're feeling angry, think about something funny. Don't think about all of your reasons and giving yourself all of these excuses. Oh, you have a right to be angry. That person shouldn't have done that, or that person shouldn't have said that. It's their fault that you feel this way. And we feed ourselves all of these reasons to feel angry. And why wouldn't we? Right? If we keep feeding that. So instead of feeding it, like when you start feeling angry, start thinking about something funny. Decide to not be angry. And I know it's not easy. You absolutely have a choice. You get to decide. Listen, pain is a part of life. Absolutely. You can't avoid it. Pain is a part of life. But suffering, that's optional. You have a choice in how you respond to painful situations in your life. Suffering is optional. You can decide. You can make any decision you want. And if you make that real decision, the decision that says, I'm burning my boats, I'm taking away all other options, this is what is happening, and you remove all other options, that is decision. What decisions do you need to make today? Do you have a couple decisions you need to make? Is there something that maybe you've been avoiding, procrastinating on? Do you need to decide to do it and not negotiate with yourself? United States, we don't negotiate with terrorists. That little chatterbox that lives inside your head, it's a terrorist, and it will terrorize us if we let it. So make the same decision. I don't negotiate with terrorists. I don't negotiate with myself. This is the decision. This is what I've decided. There is no negotiation. And just do it. Just decide today that you're going to be happy for no reason. Just because you woke up, because you have breath, because the sun is shining, because it's raining and it's watering all of the plants. Whatever it is, decide. Decide to feel good, right? Don't wait for the perfect circumstances. Just decide. I recently was talking to a friend, and I told the friend that we have such a habit to shrinking ourselves to meet our circumstances, right? If our circumstances are not what we want them to be, we shrink to the circumstance. Why don't we stop shrinking to the circumstance and demand that the circumstance change? We don't do that. Today is the day to do that. Today is the day to decide. Decide to be happy. Decide to feel good. Decide to be grateful. Decide. You have that power. You have the power of decision. You can absolutely do that. Hey, if this helped you, if it spoke to you at all, would you subscribe to my channel? Maybe share this video with someone else who could use it. And I will see you guys next time. I love you.